Hello, hello, hello. This is Esme with Fate Lines and Fire Signs. I wanted to thank you for clicking on my video and taking a moment to listen to our palm readings that we have for today. So if this is something that you're into and you would like to have your palm read, please send a submission to fatelinesandfiresigns@gmail.com, and please send me the back of your hand, the front of your hand, and your pinky side view. So that said, I want you to take a look here at the readings that we've got picked out for you today and choose the one that is resonating the most with you. The timestamps will be down in the description, so when you're ready to join your reading, go ahead and click on your timestamp. Hello, reading one. Thank you for clicking on this reading. So there is something here that we are looking to find for you today. So please come in and let's take a look at this palm and find out a little bit more about this person. So here is somebody who is sort of a sensitive type. Maybe they suffer from allergies or they're sort of sickly. They don't necessarily have the very forwardness. Maybe this is a bit of a wispy person if you've met somebody like that before. And we're going to try to find the lifeline here. So I think lifeline is here. We're just real faint. And then this is a sister line over here. So starting out with the lifeline and the headline connected, we've got chains. So there was a period of time early on in life that things maybe felt more chaotic, out of control, lots of hurdles to go through in early adult and childhood. And then as we go into early adulthood and maybe into our 20s, actually there's an event here that if the quality of this image were just a little bit better, I would want to say is probably a surgery. So to indicate a surgery on the lifeline, it shows up like a dot, like imagine taking a pen and sort of scribbling a circle. And from up here, I see the suggestion of it. But when I zoom in, of course, I can't see quite the clarity that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to go out and say it that this person had a surgery at some point, probably in their late 20s, early 30s. Again, we've got negative events that affect the lifeline. They're mitigated very early on. It's sort of like, there's this thunder of lightning bolts coming at you, and they're sort of scattered or spread apart by this sister line, by whoever this individual is in your life. They catch things kind of early on. They try to shield you as best that they can. Things do still get through and hit you, though. And that whole period in time, let's say this is 20 years of, probably from late 20s into probably 40s, and just feeling lost, kind of drained of all that life is throwing at you. But later on, things start to clear up, and I think health gets better. And we go on, and I like the way that the lifeline looks further down than it does earlier on. There's so much up here happening, and it feels like such a struggle. Here is our headline, and we've got someone they've got a fork. It's harder. It's harder to sit in the business, in the physical world with your feet on your ground and your head out of the clouds, but you want your head out in the clouds all the time. So you've built it. You can do it. It's a challenge. This is where you want to be. You want to be like a ballerina, an artist, a writer. The heart of an artist is what I see here. Up here is our heart line. And this is a person who pours a lot into relationships, but doesn't necessarily get back what they feel that they put in. But they're determined and they hang on to it, and they just want to be filled with others. This is a nearly complete girdle of Venus right here. Again, this sort of reinforces that the artist sort of feeling, right? So the girdle of Venus is an intellectual, someone very, you'd see it in painters, writers, that kind of romantic kind of idealization, but also nervous energy, anxiety, tension, right? So a person whose personality ripples like water. And also worth noting a couple of travel lines here on the side, especially probably early on, there was a very like an inciting incident, right? Something sparked a passion, and it's something that you seek now, and go out to go find over and over. Trip, trip, trip. Okay, that is reading 1. Hello, welcome to reading 2. So here is our second reading here. And if you clicked on this, there is something in this poem that you are drawn to. So we have just high level. Let's look at the shape of the hand, a long thumb, kind of like splayed out fingers a little bit. This to me is somebody who is sharp-witted, they're quick, they're fast, they're like their hands are almost nimble. This is also kind of goes without saying, right? But we've got calluses here, 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 here. This is somebody who uses their hands in a way that I think that Americans especially don't use their hands. This is somebody who works with their hands. You can kind of see dirt up here too. So someone who is very tactile, mechanically minded. Also, this is an outgoing, energetic person. We've got a lifeline that starts far out from the thumb, kind of etched into the center of the palm. That is a outgoing, friendly type, someone who really, they brighten up rooms. When they walk in, the party's there. So we've got a headline attached to a lifeline with probably, I almost want to say, like just whatever this was. I'm sorry. I don't know, but it didn't look fun. And so, just so much less of the chaining overall than we've seen in some of the other more recent readings that I've done. And here we're coming out of it into probably late teens, early 20s, and things sort of clear up, right? Not much for events happening. There are some negative impacts, but look at all of these success lines coming up, up, pulling up the lifeline. So someone who has worked very hard, literally with their hands, right? And has gotten success in return for their labor, right? For their work. And probably is living just a very good life, because it's like, sometimes I think of these as karma. The things that we put out into the world can come back at us. And there is one sort of sister line coming about, 30s maybe, shielding on some of those things. But honestly, nice and clean, good vitality, good health, lots of success. That's what you want to say, right? Like that's what you always want to say in a reading. Um, and here is an interesting headline. A good thinker. You have to be a deliberate thinker. I'm sure you have to put energy and time and thought into things, but it's there. You've got it. Someone very middle of the road, like in terms of creativity versus, I want to say like a business sense, right? A very calm, level-headed sort of thinker, practical, to the point. Love it. Here is a heart line. And I'm sad because I want to say there seems like there's an attachment line there, but the contrast here is not so good. I just sort of see the bump. So here is our heart line. And I don't have a whole lot to say. Someone who loves deeply, doesn't want to let go, not quick to accept. There's a guard here. You have a guard up. You don't always see the person in the first go or the second go or the third go. You have to really, really know this person before they let you in. Also a partial, there's like 2 squares here, 1 square, 1 square. So a single square under the Jupiter finger is called a teacher square. So this person is a good teacher, trainer, coach, good communicator to pass on the knowledge that they have. And that is reading number 2. Hello, reading number 3. Thank you for clicking on this reading. So there is something in this poem that is meant to find you today that you are being pulled to. So here is a very interesting start to a lifeline. It's common. I often see the headline and the lifeline start together, but there's actually like so much more going on, right? Like the lifeline clearly starts back here, but it's almost like, which one is the lifeline? Is this the lifeline? Is that the lifeline? I'm going to say this one. If we go out and up, that's the lifeline. Oh, yes. This person, I think, has a sister. Like a true sister or close sibling, somebody who has walked with them for a very long time. And you're born out of the same fire. This, I don't know. So this hand I can tell is an older person's hand. I can tell sort of by the texture of the skin, just the way that like skin ages. So I'm hesitant to place an age just based on like the skin of somebody. It's a little strange to say. But whatever this was, yes, it was a long time ago, but it was a fire of hell to be forged in. And from that walked 2 people. This is the person we're reading the hand of, their lifeline. They lived very deeply. I feel like this was a very good time in life, this midlife, 40s, 50s, maybe, I'm not sure, probably this would be like 60 later. But this was the core. They were in the peak. They felt like they were in the peak. They had good health. Yes, there were challenges at that time, but life did not feel alone. You had somebody there with you. And then much later in life, so you have these 2 sort of like events that change the course of this person's life. One, is 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and probably getting settled into what is life. And then late, 60s, there's another major event and things are changing over and there's a break. This sister line fades. So potentially losing someone, right? That you've always had with you. Just, look at these lines. This is wild. I don't want to speculate on what things this person has seen and encountered in their life. And this is probably, it feels like a retrospective almost, right? Like I know that this person has already lived a lot of life, and there are things that are just etched in here as a story. So I don't want to overly focus on it. We'll move on to the next one. So here is a headline. Does not start with the lifeline. It's separate. So a practical kind of person doesn't want to mix business with pleasure. Yep, you've got the logical thinker. Very practical and quick to grasp ideas, especially after this peak. It's almost like, you get like the repetition of this in life and across all the parts of life. Heartline. This is why I think sister, because this, to me, is that line here. This relationship is so deep and so profound. And it's almost like this person was never truly let in. Like they were almost always arm's reach, but still that's very close. Arm's reach, you hang on to somebody for forever if they're in arm's reach. A single, deep, lovely looking attachment line. Great marriage, I think. Lots of children lines in and about. So the potential for family. Partial teacher square. Coaching, training, speaking, being a good communicator. And then down here, this is a fate line. So here is the fortune line, and it's pretty clear. It sticks out. It's noticeable, and it's going up towards the middle finger. So generally, this is positive. It denotes as successful. Having a break in the career line indicates that this is somebody who has either completely changed careers to find purpose and meaning in life, or they were experienced success in one track, moved it over, and was doing it in another, right? So repeating that same success. And the sort of the difference for switching it up is I think there's a difference between having purpose and meaning in life and being successful, in my opinion. I could be wrong. So that is this hand. Thank you for joining reading 3. And thank you everyone for being a part of the reading today. If you enjoyed what you were watching, please like and subscribe. You can do that down below. And again, if you would like to send in a submission, please send that into fatelinesandfiresigns. Do the back, front, and pinky view for your reading. Thanks so much.